Oh, David, look over there. That little girl is playing with her new puppy. That is the cutest thing I have ever seen.
I see them. That is a very cute puppy. It's so small and full of energy. It looks like it is having the time of its life.
It makes me want to get a puppy. They're just so joyful and innocent. Look at its tail wagging so fast. It's adorable.
It is. Seeing that little golden puppy running around reminds me of something from a long time ago.
A long time ago? What does it remind you of? Does it bring back a special memory?
It does. It reminds me of the dog I had when I was a child. He looked a lot like that puppy when we first got him.
You had a dog when you were a child? I didn't know that. You have never told me about that before.
It was a very long time ago, but it was a very important part of my childhood. Seeing that puppy just brought all the memories flooding back.
That's so lovely. I would love to hear about your dog if you would like to share. We have plenty of time.
I would be happy to. It's nice to talk about him. His name was Buddy, and he was the best dog in the entire world.
Buddy, that is such a classic and friendly name for a dog. I love it. So, when did you get Buddy? How old were you?
I was very young. It was a surprise for my 8th birthday. It was the only thing I had asked for all year. I wanted a puppy more than anything else.
An 8th birthday is a perfect time to get your first pet. You are old enough to understand the responsibility, but still young enough to grow up with them.
Exactly. My parents kept it a complete secret. On the morning of my birthday, they woke me up and told me they had a big surprise for me in the backyard.
Oh, that is so exciting. I can just imagine how you must have felt. Did you have any idea what it might be?
I was hoping it would be a puppy, but I didn't want to get my hopes up too high. I ran downstairs and into the garden, and there he was.
Was he all alone, or was it a whole family of puppies?
My parents had contacted a local breeder who had a litter of golden retriever puppies. They brought 2 of the puppies over to our house so that I could choose which one I wanted.
So you got to choose your own best friend. How did you decide between the 2 of them? That must have been a very difficult choice.
It was. They were both so adorable, but one of them came running right up to me and started licking my face. The other one was a little more shy. I knew instantly that the friendly one was meant to be mine.
So you chose the puppy that chose you first. That is such a sweet story. Your connection was immediate.
It really was. I picked him up and he just curled up in my arms. I decided to name him Buddy right there on the spot because I knew we were going to be the best of friends.
That is the perfect origin story. So you chose him, you named him, and you took him home. Or he was already home.
Yes, he was already in his new home. My parents had secretly bought everything we would need for him. They had a dog bed, a food and water bowl, and lots of fun chew toys.
They were very well prepared. It sounds like they were just as excited as you were.
I think they were. My 8th birthday was one of the happiest days of my entire life. I spent the whole day just playing with Buddy on the grass in our backyard.
I can picture it now. A happy little boy and his brand new puppy rolling around in the sunshine. It sounds like a scene from a movie.
It felt like a movie. I remember I completely forgot about my birthday cake and all my other presents. The only present I cared about was my new best friend.
Of course. No other toy or gift could possibly compare to a living, breathing puppy.
I was so excited that I even asked my parents if Buddy could sleep in my bed with me on the first night.
Did your parents let him sleep in your bed? Puppies can be a lot of work during the night.
They said no to that idea. They explained that he needed to get used to sleeping in his own bed. But they put his bed in my room, right next to mine, so I could be near him.
That was a good compromise. So you told me he was a golden retriever. What did he look like? Describe him to me.
He had the most beautiful, soft, golden fur. It was a little fluffy when he was a puppy, and he had the kindest, most expressive brown eyes.
Golden retrievers are famous for their lovely personalities. Was he a very friendly and gentle dog?
He was the friendliest dog you could ever imagine. His tail never, ever stopped wagging. From the moment he woke up to the moment he went to sleep, his tail was always wagging with happiness.
That is such a wonderful image. A dog with a permanently happy tail. What was his personality like when he played?
He was very playful and had so much energy. His favorite game was fetch. I could throw a tennis ball for him for hours, and he would never get tired of chasing it and bringing it back to me.
So he was very active. Did he like going for walks?
He loved it. As soon as I picked up his leash, he would start jumping and spinning in circles. He just loved being outside and exploring the world. But he was also very gentle, especially with smaller children. He was just a big, loving, happy dog.
He sounds absolutely perfect. But having a dog is also a big responsibility, especially for a child. Did you have to help take care of him?
Yes, my parents made it very clear from the beginning that Buddy was my dog, and that meant I had responsibilities.
That is a very important lesson for a child to learn. What kind of chores did you have to do for him?
Every morning before school, it was my job to give him his breakfast and make sure his water bowl was full of fresh, clean water.
That's a good routine to have. It teaches you to think about someone else's needs before your own.
It does. And then, as soon as I got home from school, the first thing I had to do was take him for a walk. Rain or shine, we went for our walk every single afternoon.
I bet he always looked forward to that. He was probably waiting by the door for you every day when you got home.
He was. I could see his happy face in the window as I walked up the driveway. It was the best welcome home anyone could ask for.
So you fed him and you walked him. Were there any other jobs you had to do?
I also had to help keep the backyard clean. And I was responsible for brushing his fur to keep it from getting tangled. He had very long hair.
It sounds like you were a very responsible pet owner. It must have been a lot of work, but I am sure it was also very rewarding. So you took very good care of Buddy, but he was also a playful puppy. So I am sure he was also a little bit naughty sometimes. Do you have any funny stories about him causing trouble?
Oh, yes. I have many stories like that. He was a very good dog, but he was also very mischievous, especially when he was young.
I would love to hear one. Tell me a funny story about Buddy.
Okay, there is one that I remember very clearly. My mom had just made a big plate of sandwiches for a family picnic. She left them on the kitchen counter to cool down for just a minute.
Oh, I think I know where this story is going. A plate of sandwiches is a very tempting sight for a hungry dog.
It certainly was. My mom left the kitchen for just a moment to get the picnic basket. And in that short time, Buddy saw his opportunity.
What did he do? Did he jump up on the counter?
He did. He was big enough to put his front paws on the counter. And he was very quick. He grabbed the biggest sandwich from the middle of the plate and ran out into the garden with it.
Oh no, the prize sandwich. What did your mom do when she came back and saw a sandwich missing?
We all just ran to the window, and we saw Buddy sitting under a tree, looking so proud of himself with the whole sandwich in his mouth. He was so happy with his crime that we couldn't even be angry at him. We all just started laughing.
That is a hilarious image. A proud dog with a stolen sandwich. He was a very clever and opportunistic boy.
He was very clever indeed. He knew exactly what he was doing. That was a funny memory, but I have many sweet, heartwarming memories of him as well.
A funny side and a sweet side. He sounds like he had a very balanced personality. Tell me one of the heartwarming stories.
Buddy was very emotionally intelligent. He seemed to have a sixth sense for when I was feeling sad or upset.
Dogs can be very intuitive like that. They are very good at reading our emotions.
They really are. I remember one time when I was about 10 years old, I had a bad day at school. Some other kids had been unkind to me, and I came home feeling very sad.
Oh, that is so difficult when you were a child. What did you do when you got home?
I didn't want to talk to my parents about it. I just went straight to my room and lay on my bed. I think I was quietly crying a little bit.
And what did Buddy do?
He was not usually allowed on my bed, but he must have known that I needed him. He gently pushed my bedroom door open with his nose, and he came and jumped onto the bed next to me.
He broke the rules because he knew you needed comfort. That is so sweet.
It was. He didn't lick me or bark. He just lay down next to me and put his big, heavy head on my chest. It was his way of giving me a hug. He just stayed there with me until I felt better. It was like he was saying, "Don't worry, I am here for you."
That story almost made me cry. What a wonderful, caring friend he was. He was more than just a pet, wasn't he?
He was so much more than a pet. He was my best friend during all of those childhood years. He was my constant companion.
I can see that. You grew up together. He was there for all the important moments.
He was. We were a team. When I was a child, I used to love exploring the little woods behind our house, and Buddy was always my fellow adventurer.
So you would go on adventures together? What a lovely image.
We would. I used to pretend I was a famous explorer, and he was my loyal canine partner. We would spend hours in those woods, discovering new paths and chasing squirrels.
It sounds like you had a very magical childhood, and he was a big part of that.
He was. And he was also the keeper of all my secrets. When I was worried about something or when I was excited about something, I would just sit with him and tell him everything.
And he would just listen without judging, I imagine?
Exactly. He would just look at me with his big, kind brown eyes and wag his tail. He was the best listener in the world. He was a very important member of our family.
It is so clear how much you loved him. He was a very special dog. How many years did you have him for?
We were lucky to have him for a very long time. He lived to be 14 years old, which is a very good age for a golden retriever.
14 years is a wonderful long life for a dog. So you had him from when you were 8 until you were 22.
That's right. He was with me through all of my school years, and even through my first few years of university.
So you really did grow up with him. What was it like as he started to get older? Did his personality change?
His personality was always the same. He was always gentle and loving, but his body started to slow down, of course.
That is the hard part about having a pet. We get older with them.
It is. When he was older, he couldn't go for long walks in the woods anymore. Our adventures became much shorter and slower. We would just walk gently around the block.
But I am sure he still loved those walks with you.
He did, and he couldn't chase the tennis ball like he used to. He preferred to just lie in the sun in the backyard. He slept a lot more. His beautiful golden fur started to turn a little bit white around his face.
It must have been sad to see him get old.
It was, in a way, but it was also a very natural process. He was still the same happy buddy. His tail still wagged, it just wagged a little more slowly. He was a very peaceful and content old dog.
It sounds like he had a wonderful life from the first day to the very last. You gave him a perfect home.
I hope so. We certainly loved him very much, and he gave us so much love in return.
It's amazing how much of an impact a pet can have on your life. They really do become a part of the family.
They absolutely do. And I think having a dog as a child taught me some very important lessons.
What kind of lessons did you learn from him?
Well, I definitely learned about responsibility. I learned that taking care of another living being is a very important and serious commitment.
That is a lesson that stays with you for your whole life.
And I also learned so much about friendship and loyalty. He was the most loyal friend you could ever ask for. He was always there for me, no matter what.
He sounds like a true companion.
But I think the most important lesson he taught me was about unconditional love. The love you get from a dog is so simple and so pure. It's a very special thing.
That is a beautiful way to put it. Thank you so much for sharing all of these wonderful memories of Buddy with me, David. It was a real pleasure to hear about him.
Thank you for listening. It was really nice to talk about him again. Seeing that little puppy really brought it all back.